Hey there guys, so yeah, Subriel Matias versus Shohjahon Ergashev. A fight I've wanted to see for a very long time, and a fight that probably has the chance of being the fight of the year contender. Now both guys are obviously very heavy-handed, both guys always come to win, always come to fight, and yeah, this fight has violence written all over it. So if you break down the styles, obviously Subriel Matias is your come forward pressure fighter who's very heavy-handed. And Ergashev is more of a back foot boxer. He's got very good skills, and he comes from that sort of Central Asian school of boxing where they have very good footwork and very good boxing fundamentals. And it's going to be a fight where Ergashev is going to have most of his success on the outside. I mean, he's got very good footwork. He is at his best when he maintains the distance. He's not really an inside fighter by trade. He's more of a back foot boxer. He's better on the outside, and he's very good at throwing straight punches where he gets a lot of power into them. Obviously he's got 20 knockouts out of 23 wins, and yeah, most of his success is going to come from the outside in this fight. And Subriel Matias, obviously he's going to try and get on Ergashev's chest. He's going to try and work on the inside. He's going to try and break him down by throwing his heavy thudding power punches like he always does. And yeah, it's a real clash of styles. It's the boxer versus the brawler in a sense, and yeah, it should be an absolutely great fight. Now obviously, as I've said, Ergashev is going to have his most of his success on the outside. I think he will be able to outbox Matias. Matias is a bit face first. He's quite full on when he comes forward. Don't get me wrong, he does roll with punches, and you know, he takes the sting out of them quite well by just rolling with them and sort of moving in the direction of the punch. But yeah, when he's coming forward, he's not the best defensively. He does tend to catch a lot of punches, and even though he takes the sting out of them, they're still scoring punches. So for the first few rounds, I can definitely see Ergashev outboxing Matias, and having a lot of success. But to have sustained periods of success in this fight on the outside, I think Ergashev is going to have to hurt Matias. He's going to have to get his respect, and that's something that I don't think anyone has managed to do yet in Matias's career. I've seen almost every fight of Matias's career. I've seen all of his fights at world level, and so far no one has been able to seriously put a dent in him, or you know, stop him from coming forward and being on your chest. I mean, when he fought Ponce was quite a big puncher himself, and his shots just tended to bounce off Matias's chin. When he fought Jukembayev, I mean, Jukembayev wasn't really able to get any respect. It's been the same situation for everyone. I mean, the only guy who was really able to hurt Matias was Petros Ananyan, and I mean, Ananyan, he was able to wobble Matias with a left hook and he put him into the ropes, but there was something wrong with Matias that night. That was on the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury undercard, and yeah, it was just a pretty poor performance from Matias. I thought he looked quite poor in the fight, and yeah, there was just something wrong with him. Maybe it was because, you know, he was coming off the back of the Ergashev fight, and maybe, you know, it sort of affected him mentally. And I mean, we saw what he did to Ananyan in the rematch. And whether Ergashev will be able to get Matias's respect in this fight, I mean, it remains to be seen. Ergashev is obviously very heavy-handed. Only 3 of his fights have gone the distance. And I would probably say that Ergashev is probably Matias's best opponent to date. I'd probably say he's better than the likes of Jukembayev, Ponce, and Ananyan. And yeah, I think he's probably got the most to his game, and he's got the best skills out of anyone that Matias has fought so far. And I'd probably say he's probably the most heavy-handed fighter he's fought so far as well. But obviously, you know, I'm saying that based on the eye test. Ergashev, he's never really fought anyone at a high level. His best opponent is probably someone like Michael Fox, for example. Michael Fox is quite tricky. I think he's very tall for the weight. I think he's about 6'4", something like that. but he's not a truly, elite fighter or anything. I think, he's quite awkward, quite tricky, and Ergashev was able to school him, but I don't think Michael Fox is anywhere near, world level, for example. And Ergashev is fairly unproven. It remains to be seen how well he takes a shot from a world-class fighter and a big puncher. It remains to be seen how he will deal with Matias' pressure, whether he will have the mentality to, cope with that pressure, or whether he'll fall apart. And it'll remain to be seen whether he has the stamina down the stretch against someone who is really putting it on him and is really taking the fight to him and in his face all night. And I think if I had to go with the winner in this fight, I think Matias will probably beat Ergashev. I think Matias he's a very difficult fighter to beat. You need to be able to keep him on the outside, really get his respect, hurt him. And Ergashev has the style to do that. There's no way you can get inside and beat, just have a brawl with Matias. It's probably not going to work. And yeah, I think Ergashev has got the style to beat him. I think if he was a bit more proven, maybe I would favour him to win. But at this present moment, I probably would favour Subriel Matias. I think Ergashev will have a lot of success early in the fight. I think he'll probably outbox Matias for a few rounds. But when Matias starts to up the pace and he starts to really put the pressure on Ergashev, I think he'll probably start to break him down. And Matias, he's not a one-punch knockout artist or anything, but he's very heavy-handed. When he lands those thudding shots, to head and body, it really breaks his opponents down. And I think the smart money here is probably Subriel Matias by a late stoppage. And something else I've noticed about Ergashev, I mean, when he's at close range, he's a fighter who tends to hold his hands down. He doesn't really hold his hands up. He hasn't got much of a guard, to be honest. He's very good when he's on the outside, when he's using his footwork. He's got great footwork. But when Matias sort of backs him onto the ropes or something, obviously he can't use his footwork then. He tends to hold his hands down. He's got that style where his hands are very low. And on the inside, I can see Subriel Matias having a lot of success. And he'll probably be getting hit quite a lot on the inside just because of his hands down style. And yeah, I think Matias will probably break him down. I think a late stoppage is likely. I'd say a stoppage around rounds 9 to 12, but the fight will be very competitive, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Matias get hurt at some point, and maybe even knocked down. Wouldn't surprise me. But I'd probably go Subriel Matias by a late stoppage. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, God bless.